All right, so let's start this particular news. First of all, just a few days ago, who say Ato Forson, who happened to be the Minister of Finance under the NDC government, he presented the mid-year budget, and there's been a lot of questions. But then, aside from all of these things, allegations be honest, or this particular allegations against the former president and also the former Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta. And even aside from that, there are questions about why up until now, the COVID-19 levy, part of the DHIL levy and electronic levy, many levies, it has still not been scrapped. And then Ato Forson basically answered, say yes, these levies will be there up until next year, 2026. Now, there's been a lot of things, but then currently, what is really coming out of this is the Ministry of Finance is accusing the former Bank of Governor, the former Bank of Governor, Bank of Ghana Governor, Ernest Addison. Say between 2022 and a particular year, they printed over 22 billion or million cedis, pumped it into the economy without parliamentary approval. I mean, you've been following these issues. So what is really going on and what is really happening?
Now, and some now very, very true. It is a old story. I just say Akoso and I say the history. No, say now old can boss no. Somewhere 2022 and just say Ato Forson the accusation be at the ball Bank of Ghana na or accuse you almost say printing money worth 22 billion Ghana cedis at the Ato system anymore to cover up certain things for the formal government any impending for na to me this as kana yekululu ni nyamanie maybe I just say brim Ghana for any sooner. Yeah. Says this thing no cause a lot of inflation. Emma so the previous years no. Nani mo be the empa medu baby cry no say obi ni 10 pesos square made be chen out me say hot e wo kuro mo je na ade na sansensem no kan no and ankofo and so I reflect here ka say it might be true. Okay. It might not be true. Na ni nyina mo no yanzu yegu so ayeso ye de ni edi echire. Na Bank of Ghana funds so aba ma ho reply. Let
me take this particular report. Oko Sumpa FM on websites now. Also, Bank of Ghana has printed 22 billion. In fact, we're even thinking, say, we need to put this on the screens before because exactly 22 billion Ghana cedis without parliamentary approval. If it is so, if in Sema Air Course we say no crack. Then it means we're just I don't know what to say. Now there was also a particular portion two screens, so because at the end of the day, I think so we need to know exactly where this is going on. Right. Meanwhile, before the two screens, so there are people who are also saying it is a whole blame game because who do we need? In fact, just yesterday I was speaking to one friend, Nana. Things are not really going on well. $30, so dollar now conform, but then. In town, and that's okay. Kruma, Charlie, they may cry a ding. But I send phone to me can't because you're to a banche and as Obiaye din. So because that is so we don't know. You don't know. Say be in same way air course. It is one of the blame game or tactics. Now let's put this on the screens. Exactly. So as you can see, also BoG, which is the Bank of Ghana, has printed 22 billion fresh notes without parliamentary approval, and this is coming from Ato Forson. Right. We don't know if this is one of the tactics. Say okay, change the economy. We've not been able to round things up, even though oil and rice, still now Ghanaians are not really feeling the economic messiah impact now. The NDC promise and then any budget more time more time no print it nice blame games are near 2028. Now I want you to read this particular portion from the top comment. Right. Basically, it tells us something. It is giving us more details into this particular allegation. I think so you were telling me earlier, say even the former Bank of Ghana governor, no, he's come to deny this.
Well,
but when they read what's on the screen, see what is really going on.
All right, answer na me reading my comments be na menka say send ya woka no Ghana for nyina ehu say niama ekoso as in on the ground no. It is different from the aye can say am pass it na gaining strength that dollar na ba form no. Cause e bi mu wo ho no mas ene ko bank so mo kwakoto dollar o mo nya bi nto. A dollar short or bank cry say unless they go to the black market. Now black market so be ko no so mo prices a say omo dey ma en ma edwadifo ho akire omo seriously enu nti yenko ne yenko ready say na okana na afere nchirase no so ento aso. I see he said between January and June 2022 the minister responsible for finance and the government went to the central bank and encouraged the BoG to print money worth 22 billion Ghana cedis. They have printed 22 billion fresh money without the knowledge of parliament and without informing all of us. We are to force in our accuse the former government and the former minister of finance can to force in. I say yes. Ken Oforiatta, right? Yeah. Addressing the press after the finance minister, Ken Oforiatta presented the mid-year budget and economic policy of the government to Parliament. Ato Forson mentioned the brand new forex has resulted in the excessive inflation being witnessed within the nation. I am saddened, that's in quote, no wonder inflation is galloping. No wonder that our reserve positioning is dwindling. Because when you create new money out of thin air, what happens is that inflation will go up. And obviously, because it is new money, you would end up losing your reserves because there will be new consumption. If this trend continues, I will be surprised that we will end this year with inflation of about 50%, he stressed. He urged the governor of the Bank of Ghana not to repeat the illegal motion. However, quiet search for parliamentary approval when the necessity for the printing of fresh notes arises. He added, I want to urge the governor of the central bank that he had engaged in gross illegality, and in future, if he is asked to print money, he should come first to parliament before he acts. And unti source no ene wo www.sompaonline.com.Eric Murphy Asare eno ena ye readi e de ama ye tiefo nyina no. Enti sansem no ena e koso e wo Ghana ha no ma chese Ghana fo bebre ebisa say na if this is the case, how come say it went unnoticed for a while? Recently, and sana na say 2022, and Ato Forson pointed fingers at the formal your friend is government and the former finance minister, that is Honorable Ken Oforiatta, say omo and omo nsasha se oma print sika we say Ghana for brim the government's own use in an illegal way. Now the question Ghana phones we be say now Bank of Ghana governor no yen to me bringing it to book and we have the BNI, we have institutions, we have the Ioko yawo bebre wo honom. Can't they call him to book? And to say what Ato Forson is saying, no honorable finance minister send your can so names are true. And on present evidence on show working na evidence not be presenting no Ghanaians will take that man on and now say the right authorities now so to me ede papa no atoto na no ehu said dia ye kan no no kra na enya no kra no ye misa no ye hu nsem a ewo mu say special prosecutor ponchen and obekompo na ye hu dia odi sa sika no eye ya na ye hu because in a natural circumstance no there's no way a Bank of Ghana be print sika worth 22 billion Ghana cedis without the knowledge of parliament. It should never happen.
It should never happen.
Should never happen.
So I don't know if this whole tactics was just one of those things now it is a coso to kind of just create the assumption and also assumption or presumption say okay the economy was really doing well, because if you do that in business sense when the currency manipulation.
Okay.
The same thing I buy the boy NDCC I say dollar now more no currency manipulation. It is the same thing that the same argument I argue. So definitely in some way so and then their calls and then definitely their questions and then be but then if it is so, then we should start charging these people with the fairness, because if you did that. Now, as what's the economy? It will take years. This is 22 billion Ghana cedis. We are talking
about
yes. If you divide it, I think it will almost be like $2 billion.
Wow.
Yes. Because if a dollar is like 10 cedis now, just divide it by 22. In fact, yes, almost $2.2 billion.
Now, I know when you to me call a friend is saying IMF meaning can home echo stress as we are. So if we are able to even print this out, why are we not even using it for the right purposes?
You see, money acquire say the moment money loses its value, it becomes worthless. What you say? Acquire so about okay, over 10. Power real bebre.
This are don't be kasama.
Exactly. And yes, be our 10 on your bow, but value not drop it.
I drop it.
And can't it in a crowd and veg, we see any veg crew has.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yes. But and then
I'll challenge that fact.
Oh, yeah, better 1 or 2 be sent by Franny a woman in but and then no the other channel. Yes, say or bar back could be no okay. But bonten dear massa. But you are not. Bomb pie used to grab or catch us mind there to work. Until the moment you continue, you one man print scanner money becomes too common. It loses its value. What he has any international country beat Venezuela. Venezuela, Hugo Castro, a bra or gainy power, no true a coup d'etat by his style of a governance was socialist and socialism.
Okay.
And also no. Yeah, party says everything should be free. To call a Venezuela, Cuba, and those countries you don't pay fees.
Wow.
You don't pay rents. You don't pay a year hospital bills. You don't pay water bill.
And then lights.
All you have nothing. All you say be a
okay.
But because they in a socialist states, no, there's no that edge of work and that edge for ingenuity. Anyhow.
Yeah.
Inti any omote ho
Yeah.
gomi nua ba se de bia ban tua yeka yidi free yentua light bill obi am betina so we of course yes
masana na say weda ni mu kra yeka
any obeda oso ana wa hwe yi movie another novella sana wa sai be esan say you can enter feel so to say money, you know, all of us are trying and there's competition. Everybody wants to bring out the best. People are bringing new things, new strategies. Sometimes you ask yourself, hey, that is because the competition at the end of money you're worth it.
Right.
What you say. So in a socialist country, you know, be free. So that edge near the day and when it happens that way, their money and their currency. So it will be to me the 10 cities, I could 1 million Venezuela currency. Because there's no value. Exactly. So doing this in the long run is really going to affect our economy and pumping money into the system like that, you know. Now there are some cases that because if it be controlled inflation. So controlled inflation, you're printing money for basic things. And aside from that, so before you even print money using that controlled inflation, you have to first of all look at the interest rate from the banks. Either say you raise it, and because if you increase if you reduce the interest rate, people tend to borrow more, which means that there'll be more money and also more purchasing power in the system. But if you increase the interest rate, which means people will not be able to borrow more near that. And also, that's one of the things here. They control inflation. So I don't know. Meaning say business cons near my name and I don't know. This is really sad.
It's what is even more sad and say those who are at the top and more they don't really feel the heat of what we are talking about now. Chese ye ordinary Ghanaians ye ma me no mo to so no yet omoto nyama wo dwa so no no mo share that feeling hit ni pa because and then look at 10 cedi so obi say 10 cedi then e betumi ato 10 cedis na say kwa na say also koto wache ayati ama wa ye wache 10 cedi 32
Me who to see the church and if is the
you so these are some of the things.
To see
Just me who be church me to ade bi no be sisan me na me say sika we me who be acho. And this is what is going on in this country. One cedi no kwa paper no kwa no so ye now it is just the one cedi coin, the two cedi coin that is raining in the system. Eba ne say bibi ese se nka ne bo no kra no eba form na nka otumi use nkofo otumi to no na ya tumu hu. When it happens like that, yeah, mama, no, yeah, papa, no, ma, say, so it is very, very important. Say, the finance ministers, no, any Bank of Ghana, no, see what we are talking about, and so, and if there's something they can do to, as you said, manage this kind of interest rate, to manage this kind of inflation, they should do it and do it fast, because then yes, a lot of people are. They will just keep going down the drain. And
like
Uncle Foka said the rich will keep getting richer and the poor will keep getting poorer. And a gap will between the rich and the poor. It will
widen.
always be widening.
Now, you're moving on to other